Okay, today I'm going to be teaching you a new timer. That is the RTO timer, which is retentive timer on. I've got a sample program that I've already cooked up to show you how this works, and I'm also going to be showing you one other instruction called reset. I'm going to go ahead and load that up into Emulate now. So I'm going to get Emulate started, I'm going to get RS Links started, and I'm going to go ahead and get that project loaded in here. So I've got those in instruction programs, and I'm looking for my RTO RES program right there. Let's go ahead and give this a station number of 1, and that's loaded. I've got my MU500 driver and my Micrologix 1100 already in there. So now let's just load this thing up and get connected. And there we are, is the window. Run this thing up big enough so we can see it. Stretch these out. Okay, now we've got something we can work with. Let's go online with our program. And let's go ahead and put this thing in run mode. Alright, so very simple little program here. Let me explain what I've got. I've got this bit right here which I'm using as a switch. So this isn't connected to anything. This is just for me to toggle it back and forth while I'm in Emulate. And when I do, I'm going to be energizing our RTO timer, retentive time on. Then what we're going to see down here is I've got another little button just like this one. This one's just a reset button, which is going to enable me to use this reset command on the timer. And I've got a one shot in there, but not over here. I've got a one shot here because I want this to happen exactly once and only once. I don't want it to be happening over and over and over again as this thing continues to scan. This one, on the other hand, whenever I toggle it on, I want this to stay energized and I want it to act over and over and over again. So that's why we've got a one shot here and not a one shot here. So what does this RTO timer do? Well, let's go ahead and toggle this, and you can see I've got 100 seconds of preset right here with a time base of 1. That's a 1 second preset base, and you can see it's timing up. And then whenever I toggle this back off, it stops timing, but unlike a normal timer, it doesn't lose its accumulated value. So when I come back to this and I make it true again, this timer picks up where it left off and it just keeps right on going. Whereas a normal timer, a TON timer, whenever I toggle this bit off and I make this condition false, then this accumulator resets back to 0. And you can see this timer doesn't do that. So then, what if I want to reset this timer back to 0 before it goes all the way to the preset? Well, I can do that too. You see down here, if I just toggle this bit and toggle it back off, I just reset my accumulator. So that's what this reset does. And even if this timer happens to be going, so it's going, it's building up time, this thing's going 100 miles per hour, or rather a second per second. Whenever I come down here and toggle this, as soon as I toggle this on, you're going to see that accumulator go back to 0, and then it's just going to pick right back up at 0 and keep going. There's my 0, 1, 2, 3, and keeps going as expected. So let me go ahead and throw this thing back into program mode, and I'm going to take us offline. I don't need to save those changes. Let's go ahead and put one extra line in here, and I'm just going to create a normal timer, and I'm going to use this same button that we've got here to control both timers. So I'm going to just paste that there, and let's go ahead and set this up on its own timer. I'll just call this a TON for the moment so that it has some kind of description. I'll give it the same thing. I'll give it a 1 second time base, and I'll give it its own 100 seconds and verify the project, save it. Then I'm going to come over here to emulate, and I'm going to reload. And now let's try to go online again. There we are. And when we run this, now we're going to see what I was talking about with the automatic reset of the accumulator on TON. So when I toggle this, both of our timers start working, and they're running together. Then, and these two are the same, so it doesn't matter if I toggle here or toggle here. This is the same bit, so it's doing the same thing at the same time on both of these rungs. So when I toggle this back off, you see our TON goes back to 0, and our RTO, our retentive timer, that stays at 21. So that's the difference between TON and RTO, just to make it abundantly clear at this point. And I strongly suspect in one of the projects that you're doing in this course, this RTO timer is going to come in handy. So that's one reason that I'm teaching you this, other than the fact that it is considerably useful. I think you're going to need it in this course. So that's it. That's the retentive timer on. And also you've seen the timer reset. I just toggle that, and that's only being applied to T40, which is this retentive timer. And you see I can reset that at any time I want logically using this reset. So that's it. I'll see you next lecture.